Hi there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and the project I am sharing today is my Lawnscaping Challenge entry for the early November, which is a clean and simple Christmas raccoon card. So the supplies I used were the Fawn Holiday Party Animal Stamp Set, Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I will also be doing some coloring with Spectrum Noirs, hence the use of this Memento ink. I'll be using the VersaFine Onyx Black ink for my greeting, which is from the Simon Says Stamp Holiday Hellos stamp set. I'll be using one of the plaid papers from this super cute 6x6 paper pad from Carta Bella called Christmas Delivery. So to start off, I am going to stamp my party animal, aka the raccoon, in the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. As I mentioned earlier, I will be doing some Spectrum Noir coloring, and Memento Tuxedo Black does not run when you color it with alcohol markers, so that is why I am using that, since Spectrum Noirs are alcohol-based markers. So I'm going to stamp him, and then this stamp set comes with a whole bunch of different really cute accessories for the raccoon. He's got like different hats and different little things you can put in his hands, and everything is sized so that you don't have to mask anything off. Like, it just fits exactly between his hands or exactly on his head. So I'm putting the Santa hat on him. There's also like a pilgrim hat and a witch hat. And I'm gonna stamp this little present in between his hands, but there's a gingerbread man, there's a 4-leaf clover, there's an Easter egg. I mean, there's all kinds of really cute things that come in that stamp set. But anyway, so I was going to color him in. So I did print out a picture of a raccoon from the internet, just so I had a coloring reference. So I wanted to show you that. And then I am using my Spectrum Noir. So I've had some people comment that they like watching me color with Spectrum Noirs. I really like these markers. I know that Copics are very similar, but are more expensive. And I don't know, maybe Copics are slightly better quality, but I really have no problem with Spectrum Noirs, and so because they were less expensive, that is why I purchased these in the beginning, and I have loved them ever since. But anyway, so to start off, I am coloring him all gray. I started with IG2, and now I'm adding shadows with IG4, and then raccoons have this little sort of stripe on their forehead, so I'm darkening that in with IG4, and then I'm going to come in with IG6, which is a lot darker, and add in some shadows and darken up his belly a little bit, and then darken up that stripe on his forehead. And then I'll be blending that out with IG4, which is again the lighter shade, and I'm going to darken up his head with the IG4 as well. And then his belly is going to get completely darkened with the IG4 also, just because it looked like in the photo that his stomach was darker than the rest of him, so hence why I went a shade darker. And then I'm going to blend all of that out with the IG2. So that's generally how I do it. Like, I'll start with the lightest color, then I add in shadows, and then I blend with the like if I use the middle color, then I'll blend it with the middle color, and then I'll blend it again with the lightest color. I hope that makes sense. So I'm using IG6 for his mask, and then again to add in a few shadows, and here I'm blending with the IG4 again, so the one shade lighter. And then I'm going to add in some IG8, which is a lot darker, to that stripe on his forehead, and then to his mask, just to really darken that up, and his nose a little bit. And then I'm going to blend that back out with the IG6. So again, just going from the darker shade to the next lightest shade, and then here I'm just reinforcing some of those shadows with the IG4. And I'm going to do his tail now, and so for that I'm using IG6, and then I'm going to add in the IG8, so the next darkest shade, so not quite the whole thing, and then I will blend that back together with the IG6 after I add this one little stripe of IG4. So here I'm blending it with the IG6. And then those little lighter stripes that I added, I'm going to put in another slightly lighter one with the IG2, and then I'm going to blend that whole thing, the lighter one, with the blender pen, because I wanted to make sure that some areas stayed white. And that's how I'm also kind of fixing that little smudgy spot that I got on his little stripe up on the top of his forehead. Now I'm adding some pink cheeks, because yes, I have pink cheeks with PP1, and I'm blending that out with the blender pen. And then for the bow on the present and then the hat I'm coloring that with DR1, and then I will add a few shadows with the DR5 to the hat. I don't actually blend it because the DR5 is so close to DR1 in tone. It wasn't even really necessary to blend it. Then the present, I start with CG2, and then I darken it with DG3, and then I blend it back out with the CG2. And that was really it for the coloring. Now I highlight his eyes because they've gotten lost in his mask with my black gel pen, and his nose a little bit. And then I'm using my Wink of Stella brush marker in red to add some glitter to my bow and ribbon. And then I'm adding my Spectrum Noir sparkle marker in clear to add some sparkle to the trim on his hat. Because, you know, it's Christmas. He has to have a little sparkle. And then he needed something to stand on. I didn't want him just floating in midair, so I drew a line with the IG2, and then I just added in some shadows with IG4. And later I will add just the tiniest bit of IG6 right under his feet. You won't see that here, but you might notice it when you see it in the end. And I do darken his paws up because from the picture I realized his paws are dark, so I darken those up with the IG6 and IG8. Now I'm stamping the greeting for the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is a great ink for getting like really, really crisp, really dark, detailed stamping. So that's why I use it for that. And then I thought his eyes were still getting kind of lost. It was very, very black, which, you know, it is on a raccoon. But I wanted to add just a little bit of like a highlight to his pupils. So I'm taking my white gel pen and trying to add like little highlights onto his eyeballs or his like little pupils, and it's not writing real well, so I had to kind of pull it close so I could see what I was doing, but it did work in the end, and it really does make a big difference, and you'll probably see that in the close-up shot at the end. Now I wanted to add just this tiniest little detail to this. I realize this is the clean and simple challenge, but I'm not really clean and simple. I tend to use like sequins and ribbon and glitter and stuff, so I had to do something since I wasn't going to use all that. So I got out my scoreboard, and I am scoring 1/8 of an inch in along each edge. And it's a very, very simple, very clean little detail. Unfortunately, it doesn't show real well in the photos. You have to look pretty hard to even see it, but it does show up in person, and it does add just that little bit of extra, you know, where it crosses in the corners, and it goes kind of nicely with the plaid paper and just sort of that crisscrossy action, even though it is a much, much simpler version. So it's kind of a fun thing to use to add some detail to your cards. And you can see I've got another raccoon over there because I've learned to make multiples of cards now, since each one tends to take quite a long time. Now I am going to mount all of this onto an A2 size top folding white card base, and this is that adorable plaid paper from that Cartabella Christmas delivery pad. It is so cute. Like every piece of paper in that pad is amazing. So I just had to share that. And then I'm going to mount the raccoon onto some black cardstock as mat, and then I'm going to mount this whole thing on top of that plaid paper, and that is it. Very simple and clean, for me anyway. I hope you like it. I don't normally do clean and simple, but I thought this was a really, really fun project, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think the raccoon is super cute. And even though I don't normally think of raccoons as being Christmassy, I think this stamp set may have changed my mind. So I hope you liked it. And thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in more Spectrum Noir coloring from me, I have linked to 2 videos below, both Christmas related. One is my fairy ornaments card, and the other is the Abominable Snowman Christmas card. Both have Spectrum Noir and some Distress ink coloring in them. As always, there is a supply list linked below in the video description for this project, as well as on my blog, blacksheep303.com. If you like this video, I would love it if you give me a thumbs up, and I would love it even more if you'd subscribe. Thank you so much, and have a great day.